Hello everybody, Andy from Aesop Trading here, and today we're gonna continue the topic of the dollar reversal and how to profit from it. So let's get started. Coming up with a quick update on DXY ticker. So this week we have an ascending move, and if in 12 hours this candle will close above the previous week's high, which is 92.373, that would be super bullish for the dollar. That will form a sort of a sandwich here with a negative candle in the middle, and that will trigger a big move in the dollar to upside. One possibility to profit from this dollar rally, it was outlined in my first video. You can buy a US dollar bullish ETF, or you can buy US dollar futures. But there are some other methods as well. So you can buy bonds. Speaking about bonds, you have three categories of bonds. You have the long-term ones, you have the medium-term ones, and the short-term ones. So I have three ETFs here for all the types of bonds out there. So we have SHY, that's 1 to 3 years ETF. We have IEF, that's 7 to 10 year treasury bonds. And we have TLT, that is 20-year plus treasury bond ETF. So we're gonna look at the TLT. Looking at this chart, we can see a very long-term channel. This channel has got a line in the middle which might act as support as resistance, like it acted here, like it acted here, or like they tried to act here, they failed. So in these rectangles, I've got the moments when the TLT is approaching this middle line of the channel and we have a positive delta. In this case, we headed down for a more serious deep accumulation. In this case as well, we headed down to the bottom of this channel to accumulate some more. In this case, only a slight accumulation was enough, and we went to test the upper boundary of this channel. And in this case, we went down and reaccumulated in this zone. Recently, well, in 2020, we tried to break this channel to the upside, and here we've got some serious resistance, we've got divergence, we had volume was not supporting the trend anymore, and we started trending lower. Right here in the middle of this channel, we started building a nice accumulation from quite some time. We can see that all this drop was slightly bought. Personally, I expect this kind of action to repeat here, but I might be wrong. Anyway, we can buy the TLT ETF with a stop loss at one of these three blue levels. So depending on your risk appetite. At the TLT chart, we should look for a weekly close as well above the last week's high. That will be super bullish. That would demonstrate that we broke through the support and resistance band. We tested it, and we made again sort of a sandwich with a negative candle in the middle. What is concerning here is the short-term daily chart. We have a negative delta. We are approaching the overbought zone at the level 100. We are currently at 84. We formed a small divergence on the momentum indicator with divergence in histogram as well, but the ASAP MACD blue line looks like it's forming a sort of flag here. If we manage to close this weekly candle in a bullish fashion, we will have this a signal plateau forming on the TLT a submagd weekly histogram here. If this histogram will be bigger than the previous one, that's very bullish for the TLT. Another thing worth mentioning is that the 7 to 10 year treasury bond ETF. So here you can see the action is slightly worse. We have just a little bit of accumulation. We had sort of a triangle here. We tried to break to the upside. We tested it. We had a reaction. We have a negative delta. We have a negative momentum, and this might indicate that the probability of this big head and shoulders pattern forming and starting to break it to the downside is bigger than the probability of these head and shoulders big pattern on a weekly or being realized on the TLT ticker. What is good about the 7 to 10 year treasury is that we can place a stop loss at 114.31, which will be only $1-ish, and you can get those dividends cashed as well. If you're going with big leverage, that's gonna be a huge advantage. What is worth mentioning is that the Chinese FXY setup, which I outlined in one of my previous videos, is still valid. Just look at this, how we replicate the price action from the previous test of the resistance in 2018. I'm expecting it to head lower to test this big triangle bottom trend line to gather some serious accumulation here and ultimately to break to the upside. What is worth mentioning here is that triangles that have 3 or more touches are signs of highly manipulated market. Speaking about ascending triangles here. And the last thing worth mentioning is the triple Qs. I know there are some perma bears that predicted loads of times the death of this ticker. And still, we have a steady channel which is very bullish. Pay attention at the delta on the weekly indicator is kind of unusual for me to see such delta. So it's most of the time it is negative. Most of the time this the price of this ticker is running in front of it with slight exceptions, which are represented by green delta histogram. What is worth mentioning here is that we recently broke to the upside. On the A submagd, the weekly, we have divergence. We try to break through to the upside, and if we break through on this high, that's gonna be something very interesting. The histogram divergence already was broken. It was forming here, but it was broken by this bits of histogram. So we had recently a negative delta of minus 58, which is very interesting because that's the historical maximum. Let me put a full screen here. That's a historical maximum. And just recently we had a few weeks that volume started to catch up, and now we are nearing zero, zero line, in terms of delta on the weekly. And that's very dubious because on a daily we formed sort of a wedge pattern. It usually go breaks to the downside. There was negative delta here as well. There was some form of divergence on the ace of smart money blue price line going on, and it is till now. We broke through the upside, and this might suggest that we are approaching a final stage of an upside meltdown move in the triple Qs. That's the Nasdaq 100 ETF. That's the tech stocks that lead the stock market. If the tech stocks go down, that will put downward pressure on the whole stock market. And usually you see a correlation between TLT and the triple Qs, and that's with the TLT reverses, and that offsets the the reversal in a stock market by 3 months. So usually TLT reverses, and after roughly 3 months, the stock market reverses as well. As you might probably know, everybody is talking everywhere about an inverse correlation between stocks and bonds, bonds and stocks, and so on. So bottom line here is that we will have a blow off top move here soon. But calling a top is very early, and I don't want to call a top in the triple keys right now because we are approaching a zero delta on the weekly, on the daily as well, because we are breaking this divergence right here, and calling a top here is very dangerous. Getting a short on the triple Qs is like trying to catch a falling knife, but soon a short on the triple Qs must be considered to profit from a dollar reversal. So bottom line here, real quick, is you can long term bonds, you can short the Chinese macro caps, and you can try to short the triple Qs, but not right now because it looks very bullish. Try to short the triple Qs as soon as you see a parabolic move to the upside. Just build a Sperandeo trend line and short at the breaking of that trend line. So that was everything for today. Thank you very much for watching.